Hi, I am R. Sundar, Assistant Professor, Department of Electrical and Electronics Engineering. I am very happy to see you all through this video lecture. Today, we are going to see the network theorems, the fundamental and basic theorems in basic electrical and electronics engineering. This is very basic fundamental to network theorems to find out the current and the power consumed in the particular load. Before going to start this lecture, I am going to give one small advice to you, one small slogans to you all. I have not failed, but I found thousands of ways not to make bulb lights. This is who said? This is Thomas Alva Edison, right? Okay. What does it mean? You should not be idle, you should practice. Whenever if you are doing something, you are going to gain something, right? Yeah. Today the lecture is Thevenin's theorems. Today lecture is Thevenin's theorems. Why we go for Thevenin's theorem? What is the need? Very simple. Yeah, any complex network consists of active or passive elements which can be reduced to a simple circuit, one voltage sources in series with the resistance. From that we are going to calculate the current flow through that particular load. What is the power consumed? Anything we can calculate. Very simple. Any complex network means consists of many branches, many nodes, many elements which is connected in the network, that is called, we call it as the complex network, which consists of many elements, resistance, active elements, passive elements. This can be reduced to a one voltage sources in series with the one resistance. How we are going to simplify a complex network into a small network, simplified network, that is called the Thevenin's theorem. Why I said this is the Thevenin's theorem? This is the person who has introduced the theorem. The name of the founder is called the Thevenin's theorem. That is why we call it as the Thevenin's theorem. What is this V suffix O? Very simple. V suffix O is nothing but open circuit voltage. Open circuit voltage R suffix TH is nothing but the Thevenin's resistance or looking back resistance. Thevenin's resistance or looking back resistance both are same. V suffix O is nothing but the open circuit voltage at the terminal A and the B. That is the voltage difference, voltage across the terminal A and B at the open circuit, that is called the open circuit voltage. RTH is nothing but the Thevenin's resistance. How to find out the open circuit voltage and the Thevenin's resistance? Before we go for to solve these problems, I advise you to all refer my previous lecture which is available on the online. In that previous lecture, I discussed everything how to frame the matrices by applying the Kirchhoff voltage law, Kirchhoff current law. From that we have solved many problems. So, that is the very fundamental to solve this basics theorems, right? Okay. We are going to see on simple problems to find out by applying the Thevenin's theorem how we are, from this you can easily understand that how we are going to reduce this network into a simplified network like the previous one voltage sources in series with the resistance. From that how we are going to calculate the load current. Here which one is the load? R suffix L. R suffix L is nothing but the load. From the, that is the load, one is the 20 ohm resistance. From that we are going to find out the what is the current flow through the RL, or otherwise they can give simply the arrow mark. This arrow head means that is the load one. We have to find out the current flow through this particular resistance, that is called the load current, right. Now I am taking the same problem which I have done it in the previous class by the same problem which I have done it by applying the same Kirchhoff law. The same, for your check of understanding purpose, I have done the same problem, I have taken the same problem. Now I am going to apply the Thevenin's theorem, so that you can easily understand the what is the current flow through the load resistance. You can verify the current also, you can verify your answer. Then you can understand easily what is the difference between the KVL law, what is the difference between the Thevenin's theorem, what is the difference between the Norton's other theorems, right. There are so many theorems is there. Thevenin's theorem, Norton's theorem, superposition theorem. Now first we will see the Thevenin's theorem. This is the very fundamental. Once if you understand the Thevenin's theorem, the rest of theorems will be very easier. Now this is the simple circuit, same problem which I had done in the previous class by applying the Kirchhoff voltage law, right. Okay. This is the voltage source, 96 voltage is here. This is 6 ohm resistance, 12 ohm resistance, 4 ohm resistance, 12 ohm resistance, and again 4 ohm resistance. The load is 20 ohm resistance. Now there are how many resistances here? There are various many resistances connected in this network. One voltage sources is there, that is one mesh loop, another mesh loop, another mesh loop. There are 3 mesh loops is there. Now I am going to reduce in a single voltage sources and resistance, right. What is the Thevenin's theorem says that any complex network can be reduced to a one voltage sources. This voltage source is nothing but open circuit voltage. How to find out the open circuit voltage? Steps to find out the open circuit voltage. Just note down that open circuit is nothing but the steps. The first step is remove the load. The first step is remove the load. If you remove the load, automatically this will become as the terminal becomes as open. The voltage across the open circuit terminal, say you call it as the A, B. The voltage across the A and B is called the open circuit voltage. Clear? How to find out the open circuit voltage? The voltage across this terminal, this is called the open circuit voltage. How to find out open circuit voltage? By any other method. Either by source transformation method or a series parallel combination method or any other star delta method or any other method you can apply. So now we are going to see the simple mesh method, right. What is V naught? V naught is nothing but the first step is remove the load resistance. The step number 1 is from the original circuit you remove the load. Once if you remove the load, automatically that point will become as open. That terminal we call it as the open circuit. The circuit becomes as open circuit. What is the voltage across that 2 point? That is called the open circuit voltage, right. How to find out the voltage? So by now we are going to solve the mesh method. So what is called the mesh? It is a loop. Loop is nothing but one closed circuit. It starts from same point and finished with the same point. That is the closed circuit. How many closed circuit in this network? So this is one closed circuit. This is another closed circuit. What about this? This is not the closed circuit because this part is open. So the current will not flow through this path. So only the current will be flowing this path and this path only. So the open circuit voltage is nothing but what is the current flow through this path, that is I2, I call it as this current into that resistance, that is called the open circuit voltage. How to find out the I2? So as I said earlier in my previous lecture, Kirchhoff law, by applying the Kirchhoff law in the first loop, the current flow through the first loop is called the I1 current. The current flow in the second loop is called the I2 current. Very simple, right. How to frame the matrices? See, very simple. the equation is R I is equal to V. The matrices method, the formula is R I E is equal to V. R is nothing but the resistance, I is nothing but the current, another column is equal to V, that is nothing but the voltage. What is R? For your understanding purpose, I am once again explaining the Kirchhoff law by applying the Kirchhoff law in this particular loop. So, the I1 is the current circulating in the first loop, I2 is the current circulating in the second loop, right. So, what is the sum of the first row, first column is nothing but sum of all the resistance in the first loop, sum of all the resistance in the first loop. Sum of means what is 6 ohm resistance plus 12 ohm resistance, how much? 12 plus 6, 18, right. Okay. First loop and second loop, what is the common resistance of first loop and second loop? 12 ohm resistance. Similarly, for the second loop and the first loop, what is the common resistance? Same 12, whatever you are applying here, so that is 12, this is minus, right. So, what is second row, second column? Second row, second column, sum of all the resistance in the second loop, sum of all the resistance in the second loop, sum of all the resistance in the second loop, how much? 12 ohm resistance plus 4 ohm resistance plus 12 ohm resistance, 24 plus 4, 28, right. So, this is the R matrices. Now, we have framed 12 plus 6, 18. So, this resistance we framed R. I is nothing but what is the current flow in the first loop, what is the current flow in the second loop? I1, I2. Then what is V1? This is nothing but V1, V2. What is the voltage in the first loop? 96. What is the voltage in the second loop? So, no sources is connected in the second loop. So, you simply put it as 0. Whether the 96 voltage is a plus or minus, according to our convention, we assume that the potential rises from minus to plus. Always the potential rises from minus to plus. So, our assumption current direction also rises from minus to plus. So, both are same. So, that is plus. You can assume the current direction opposite to the given polarity. If you are assumed like that, it should be minus 96. Nothing. You can assume anyway, right? According to our assumption current direction and the polarity, based on the polarity is given, it is minus to plus like this. So, it is 96 voltage. Clear? Now, you frame the. Now, you find out the determinant one is called the delta, the I2. What is I1? I1, how to find out the current I1? I1 is nothing but delta 1 by delta, simple by matrices method, determinant method, right. I2 is nothing but delta 2 by delta. What is delta 2? What is delta? Delta is nothing but the determinant of the resistance is called the delta, right. What is I1? Delta 1? Delta 1 is nothing but the substitute the voltage column in the first column, that is, then find out the determinant value, that is called the delta 1. I1 is nothing but delta 1 divided by delta. Similarly, for I2 is equal to delta 2 by delta. What is delta 2? Substitute the voltage column in the second column, find out the determinant of this, that is called the delta 2. Now, you 18 minus 12, 96, 28. I2 is nothing but delta 2 by delta. What is delta 2? Delta 2 is nothing but substitute the voltage column in the second column, that is called the delta 2. Delta 2 is nothing but delta, that is called the I2. The determinant of this matrices is called the delta 2, another divided by the delta, that is called the I2. The I2, from this we can find out the I2 is equal to 3.2 amps. Now we have find out the I2 current. I2 current is nothing but 3.2 amps, right. That is I2 current is nothing but the current flow through the second loop. Now the I2 is the current flow through this loop, that I2 into that resistance I into R, that is called the voltage. Therefore, V naught is equal to I2 into R. That is 38.4 voltage. Now we have find out the Thevenin's voltage or open circuit voltage 38.4 voltage. Do you have any doubt in this, how to find out the Thevenin's voltage? I hope you all understand this one, how to find out the Thevenin's voltage. Now we are going to find out the another one, that is called the Thevenin's resistance or looking back resistance. Second, steps to find out the Thevenin's resistance. How to find out the Thevenin's resistance? Very simple. Replace all the sources by that internal resistance. If the internal resistance has been given, you connected that one and replace the sources. If not given, simply you replace that. How you are going to replace the sources? If it is the voltage source is given, voltage source will be replaced by short circuited. If it is given, current source is given, replaced by open circuit. Very simple. If it is voltage sources, replaced by short circuited, current source is given, replaced by open circuit. Now this is the original circuit. From I am replacing the voltage sources by simply short circuit. From the original circuit, there is a voltage sources. Here I am replacing the voltage sources by simply I am connecting the zero resistance path, that is called the short circuited. If some internal resistance is given, connected in that place, right. Okay. Now only in the network, only the resistance. What is RTH? RTH is nothing but the whole resistance can be replaced by one single resistance, that is called the equivalent of the all the resistance is equivalent to one resistance, that is called the Thevenin's resistance or looking back resistance. Looking back resistance is nothing but you are looking from here, you are viewing from here back, you are calculating the resistance from back side, that is called the looking back resistance. So how to find out the RTH? RTH, R suffix TH is nothing but the Thevenin's resistance or looking back resistance. Now the 6 ohm resistance and the 12 ohm resistance are parallel in series with the 4 ohms, in parallel with 12 ohm resistance, in series with 4 ohm resistance. Series parallel combinations only. How you all know which one is parallel to which resistance, which one is series to resistance? Very simple. If the current flows through this path, there is no other choices to go any other way, only the current has to take the bend and flow through this path. Whenever the current takes branching, either the current may flow through this path or this path, then these two are parallel with this one, right. Okay. 6 ohm resistance parallel with 12 ohm resistance, this and this, in series with 4 ohm resistance, in parallel with 12 ohm resistance, again in series with 4 ohm resistance. Like that I am simplifying the network, that is 6 into 12. Parallel means 6 R1 R2 divided by R1 plus R2, that is 72 divided by 80, this network. 72 divided by 18, that is 4. 4 plus 4 in parallel, that is 8. This will become as 4 ohms plus this one is the 4 ohms, that is parallel with 12 ohm resistance in series with 4 ohm resistance. Now 4 plus 4 8 ohm resistance in parallel with 12 ohm resistance. So, this will becomes as 8 into 12 divided by 20, that is 4.8 plus 4 is equal to 8.8 ohms. Any doubt how to find out the RTH, Thevenin's resistance? Very simple, replacing the voltage sources by 0 resistance path, that is called the short circuit path. Now, the 6 ohm resistance and 12 ohm resistance are parallel. So, I am simplifying the circuit, that 6 and 12 are 4 ohms. Very simple. Now, the 4 and 4 are series, again that is 4.8. Now, this and this are series. So, this will become as 8.8 ohms. This will become as 38.4 voltages. Now, we have found out the open circuit voltages and the Thevenin's resistance. Now, we very easy. This is the AB. Now, we reconnect the, initially we remove the load resistance, now we reconnect the load 20 ohms. Now, the circuit will be very simpler. Any complex network can be simplified a small network. This will become as a single loop. This will become as a single loop. Only one loop is we have made it. So, easy to find out the load current. I is equal to V by R. The load current is nothing but IL is equal to VTH or open circuit voltage. This voltage is nothing but the Thevenin's voltage divided by R. R is nothing but Thevenin's resistance plus load resistance. This and this are series. The load resistance is nothing but, load current is nothing but 1.33 amps. The same amount of current will be flowing in the previous problem, which we have done it based on the Kirchhoff law. The same current will be flowing. Now, you can easily understand the Thevenin's theorem. What is the difference between, how do you feel, which one is either KVL law is easier or Thevenin's theorem is easier. So, if you prefer Thevenin's theorem, you can solve the problem by Thevenin's theorem. If you prefer KVL law, you can apply the KVL law. Now, both the answer must be same, right? Now, we find out the current. What is the power consumed in the load? Power is nothing but I square R. Power is equal to I square into R. The current is nothing but 1.33 into R, 20 ohms. 35.6 watts. This is the power consumed in that particular load. Now, we are going to see the Norton's theorems. Same, the previous one, why do you say that is the Thevenin's theorem? The person who has introduced the theorems, that is called the Thevenin's. Similarly, the person who has introduced the Norton's is called the Norton's theorem, right? Okay. Same, we are going to take down the same problem by applying the Norton's theorem. What the Norton says, right? Okay. Whenever if you are going to write the Thevenin's, the theorems, the spelling and all is very, you are using that person name. So, it should be very clear, right? Just you recall the previous one, what you have done it in the previous Thevenin's theorem. any complex network. What do you mean by complex? Many branches, many networks, small loops, right? That consists of lumped networks and elements is connected, active or passive elements is connected, that you call it as the complex network. To avoid the tedious calculations, we are applying because of the tedious calculations, we are applying the theorems called the Norton's theorem. Same one we are going to apply the Norton's theorems. A complex network can be reduced to in the Thevenin's theorem, one voltage sources in series with the resistance. Similarly, here you are going to calculate, you are going to reduce the one current sources in parallel with the resistance. One current sources in parallel with the resistance. In the previous Thevenin's theorem, voltage sources you have calculated, whereas here current sources. This current sources is nothing but the short circuit current, whereas in the Thevenin's theorem you calculated the open circuit voltages. What is open circuit voltage? You are removing the load at the terminal. The voltage at the point is called the open circuit voltage. Here you are short circuit remove the load and you are short circuit that path, the current flow through that particular path, that is called the short circuit current. The current flow through that particular path is called the short circuit current. The resistance is nothing but the RTH, same as the previous one, the same procedure, right. This is the AB terminal, this is the AB terminal. Now we are going to reduce the complex network into a Norton's theorem. Norton's theorem is nothing but reduce the complex network into a one current sources in parallel with the resistance, whereas in the Thevenin's theorem one voltage sources in series with the resistance, right. Now how to find out the short circuit current or Norton's current? Short circuit current or Norton's current? This current is called the Norton's current. How to find out this current? Simple step. You replace the load resistance from the original circuit and short circuit this path. This is called the short circuit path. Short circuit is nothing but the providing the easiest path, that is the zero resistance path, right. Okay. Now what will happen if you are connected like this? The current flow through this path is called the I Norton's current. We have to find out this current. How to find out this current? Simple, by any other method, either by source transformation method or series parallel combinations or star delta, any other method. So this is one we go for the simple by applying the KVL law, mesh method. I1, I2, I3. I3 current is nothing but the Norton's current. I3 current is nothing but the Norton's current. How to find out the I3? Simply I3 is nothing but the mesh method. There are 3 loops. Simply please refer my previous very first lecture by applying the KVL law. The formula is R resistance voltage, current voltage. First row, first column, sum of all the resistance in the first loop, that is 12 plus 6, 18. Similarly, sum of all the resistance, what is the first row, second column, what is the common resistance of first loop, second loop? 12 ohm resistance, minus 12. First row, third column, any common resistance is connected between the first loop and the third loop? No. So simply put it 0. Whatever in the first row, same thing in the first column. Here, second row, second column, sum of all the resistance in the second loop, that is 12 ohm resistance, 12 ohm resistance plus 4 ohm resistance, that is 24 plus 4, 28. Second loop, third loop, what is the common resistance? 12 ohm resistance, so 12, so minus. So whatever here, the same thing only here. The common of third and second, common of second and third, and the common of third and second loop is the same one. So third row, third column, sum of all the resistance in the second loop, third loop, that is 12 plus 4 16. This one is called the delta, this one is called the delta. The determinant of one is called the delta. What is called the delta 3? So, this is the resistance R matrices, this is I1, I2, I3. So, what is V1? V1 is the 96 voltages. Any other voltage source is connected in the second loop? No. So, I put it as 0. Any other voltage source is connected in the third loop? No, is 0. Why I put it is, this is the plus, my assumption current direction under the given polarity both are same, always the potential rises from negative to positive. So, my assumption current direction also rises from minus to positive. So, that is, this one is the 96 voltage plus 96, clear to you, right. So, the determinant of the first one R matrices is called the delta. Delta 1 is nothing but substitute the voltage column in the first column and find out the determinant, that is called the delta 1. Similarly, for the voltage column substitute in the second one, that is called the delta 2. So, delta 3 is nothing but substitute the voltage column in the third column, that is called the delta 3. What we know, what we have to know, no need to find out the I1, I2, directly we go for the I3, because I3 is the current flows in the short circuit path. Therefore, IN is equal to, that is Norton's current is nothing but I3 is equal to delta 3 by delta, is nothing but delta 3 by delta. What is delta 3? So, I3 is equal to delta 3 by delta. If you find out the value of this one, 48 by 11. The determinant of this value is nothing but I3 is equal to delta 3 by delta is equal to 43 by 11. What is I3? I3 is nothing but the Norton's current or short circuit current, that is 48 by 11. That 48 by 11 is nothing but the delta 3 by delta value, this value, right. Okay. This is nothing but 48 divided by 11. Now, we come to the, we have reduced the circuit, one current sources in parallel with the resistance. Now, you reconnected the load which you have disconnected earlier. Now, you reconnected the load resistance here. So, now this resistance and this resistance are parallel. Now, the current flows through this path. Now, the current flows through this path. What is our aim? What we have to calculate? Our aim is to calculate the current flow through the load, that is 20 ohm resistance. This is called the load current. So, therefore, load current is equal to this current, that is short circuit current is coming here, short circuit current into, by applying the current divisions rule, this current short circuit current into, our aim is to calculate the current flow through this path. So, for this path, which one is the opposite side resistance? So, 8.8 ohm is the opposite resistance, that current short circuit current, the current coming through this path, for this is the opposite side resistance, divided by sum of these two resistance, that is called the current division rule, that is 8.8 plus 20. This is called the load current. The same amount of current flow through the load resistance, which we have done it by the Thevenin's theorem. Now, you can easily understand that the Thevenin's theorem current and the Norton's theorem current, and the very first we have done it by applying the Kirchhoff law So, all the current must be the same. Now you can easily understand the Thevenin's concept. Thank you.